And they're very much locked into their current model, aren't they? It's hard to budge them or to see them budging readily from that, because there's no penalty to waste and this overabundance, because the supplier bears the cost of the oversupply. And you write about the markup on fresh produce, which is so high that it's not in their interest to be canny with what they have on the shelves, because they lose so little by throwing away compared to what they gain by selling.
The first thing is, it's not quite true that they're absolutely locked into the current business model. Already there are signs of change within the supermarkets. Some of the supermarkets have started marketing knobbly fruit or wonky vegetables, and they know there's a market out there for it, and they are looking at it. What we need to do is push them in that direction. So it's not absolutely hopeless. That's the great thing about this. It's not a hopeless problem. We can solve it, and we can encourage them to change their policies, and it will ultimately work, I think. The second issue there is, as you point out quite rightly, that the losses they make through wastage do not reflect the true cost of causing that waste. This is one of the things that the Competition Commission has been trying to address with the supermarkets. At the moment, a supermarket can overorder ready meals or fresh fruit and vegetables from the manufacturer or from the supermarket, can make it what they call a forecast order. We think we will want 100,000 sandwiches any day this summer. And then the day before, they'll ring up and confirm their order, and it'll turn out to be 80,000. So you're left with 20,000 sandwiches and no one to sell them to. At the moment, the supermarkets are in a position of power where they can say to the supplier, you accept the losses on that, it's not our produce, it's yours, and therefore push the waste that they've caused further up the supply chain. And the Competition Commission have been saying that is an unfair dealing practice, and they've been trying to reform it. And of course the supermarkets have been resisting, and we are awaiting the final resolution of this debate that has now been going on for several years, and it will be finalised this year. If the supermarkets agree to the changes put forward by the Competition Commission, then all very well and good. If they don't, it will be referred to BIS, the new department of the government who are responsible for it, and they may ultimately be obliged to submit to these new, what's called the Grocery Standard Code of Practice. And that's a very important measure. We need to introduce that. But ultimately, the really big costs are the environmental costs. Like I said, the use of the land, use of the water, the greenhouse gas emissions, all of these things are true costs to waste that are currently not reflected when supermarkets waste their food. They don't have an economic repercussion. And there, we do need to look at potential fiscal ways of dealing with that. So at the moment, there is something called the landfill tax. It's £48 a tonne. If a supermarket wants to send, or a manufacturer wants to send food waste to landfill, that's what they have to pay. This has encouraged them to divert their waste food from landfill, to send it primarily now to anaerobic digestion or composting. That is much better than landfill, and the government is right to have pushed this along. But at the moment, there are no fiscal incentives to push food further up the hierarchy, so towards animal feed or ultimately towards human consumption. And there is a case for introducing a tax on food waste, irrespective of disposal costs. Not just on landfill, but on wasting food per se. And this will encourage the food industry to give whatever can't be eaten by humans to livestock, rather than putting it in anaerobic digestion. And secondly, to encourage the food industry, when they end up with surplus, to make sure that people are the end consumers, because that's the ultimate aim of food, is to feed people.